Okay, guys, I just finished doing Jopping. Why it's so good. Jopping by SuperM. If you've not seen that, I would recommend going and watching it. Watch me freak out and fangirl over it. But I wanted to talk about why NCT made SuperM possible. I'm gonna hold on. There we go. We're gonna switch that. So NCT, if you don't know what it is, go look them up. NCT is a very large group of idols. I believe there's 18 of them. I feel like I should have looked that up before I said it, but I said it. I hope there's 18 members. Anyway, so it's a super large group, and they actually do songs together, like Back on Black. But what they mainly have is kind of subdivisions of that group. So you have NCTU, you have NCT 127, you have NCT Dream, and so they have kind of these subgroups that they split off into for most of their songs and performances. So NCT Dream. Oh, there's also NCT Wavy. I don't know how that one is supposed to be said. I'm not going to lie. The others I feel like are pretty explanatory. Also, don't ask them why the number's 127. Just go look it up. You'll feel a lot better about it instead of someone having to explain it to you. Anyway, so they have these different kind of subcategories within NCT. But as a total, NCT is a group. They just are. So why is that important? Because this is a liquid group. So the different like subgroups within it are actually more firm, I would say, than NCT as a whole. So NCT could gain and lose members however much they wanted, but their smaller groups are kind of like they're on a member diet. They're not really supposed to change. So like 127, after they added, I believe, nope, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know who was added last, but yeah, I do. Again, I'm gonna say this. I feel like I should have looked it up. Hooray! I believe Doyoung and Johnny were the last ones that they added, and once they did, it became NCT 127 as a whole, and that was the end of it. And they haven't added or lost any members since. But they created this culture where it's a little bit more fluid and liquid. So again, the members can change, and there's different members in different groups. Some of them are only in one, some of them are in two, some of them, like Mark, are in like all of them. Poor kid, totally overworked, my opinion. I'm gonna leave that there. Sorry if I offended the entire world. Overworked for good reasons because he's awesome. But this idea of having like a larger group and having it be a little bit more movable and malleable actually, I think, opened the doors for SuperM. If you do not know what SuperM is, SuperM consists of, I believe, 7 members. Yes. So you have Ten, Lucas, Taeyoung, and Mark, who are originally all in NCT in various subgroups. And then you have Kai, Taemin, and Baekhyun, who are from previously existing groups. So Taemin is from SHINee, which has been around for a super long time, if you don't know who they are. And Kai and Baekhyun are from EXO. So all of these are under the SM Entertainment logo. So all of them work for SM, all of them are employed there and trained there. But the idea of NCT and kind of what it is, I feel like has bled into SM Entertainment. So SM Entertainment was like, oh, we have this great idea for a group that has a little bit more freedom in it. It can change, it can move, it has different, groups and subgroups inside of it. And then I think they took a step back and began to look at their company that way. And they were like, hold on a minute. if this is something that is working and successful for a boy group, like this could definitely be successful as something bigger than that. I'm sorry, I'm going to move this again. So this is something I think that they did. I think they took a look at it. They're like, look, NCT is really successful. All of the subgroups are successful. And I think, I mean, and as far as NCT goes, I mean, the reason that NCT was possible, I think, was because of EXO originally. Because EXO decided to have XMM, which stood for Mandarin, and they sung most of their songs in Mandarin. And then you had XOK, which stood for Korea, and they performed songs in Korean. So EXO opened the doors for NCT. And once they created NCT, where they had these subgroups and they had, you know, more of that liquid type boy band group, I don't know what to call them anymore, then they, you know, saw how successful they were, which they have been extremely successful. And I think SM took a step back and said, look, we tried it with EXO and it worked for a while with EXO, and it's worked really well with the way that they set up NCT. And I think they just took a step back and said, you know what, this I think should be a possibility for more of our artists. And so I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they they decided to kind of handpick. So, like I said, SHINee has been around for a really long time. We're talking longer than like 2012, I think. I don't remember exactly when they debuted. I just know that I listened to some of their music in between like 2012 and I think 2000. Nope. I'm just gonna say sometime around 2012. So they've been around for a very long time, and Taemin is the youngest member that they have. And then there's EXO, which debuted after them. So I feel like what SM did was they they thought about this and they're like, okay, as far as ages go, there's going to be a gap, duh. But Taemin is still extremely active. And SHINee is active as a group, but Taemin has actually done like a solo debut and he has a large following. Baekhyun just barely had a solo debut, I think last June or July. So, I mean, they're like, okay, these two vocalists, they're, stand alone. People like them. They're popular. Let's take them. Looking at it, I think Kai is one of the most loved in EXO. He's not even my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, but I think a lot of people like him, and I can appreciate what he brings to the group, especially as a dancer. He's another all-arounder, very good at everything that he does. And so I think they were like, okay, we're going to take one from SHINee, because if we take two from SHINee, that's half the group. So we're going to take one from SHINee, we're going to take two from EXO, and then I think they took a look at NCT and they're like, dude, these guys already know how to do this, so let's go ahead and pull a couple kind of from a little bit of everywhere, but mostly from NCTU. If you kind of look at the different members that they picked, if you pick Mark, you're picking from practically all of the subgroups. If you pick Taeyoung, you're picking from 2 at least, and then 10 is extremely well loved. And he's in Wavy, and for a while he was in NCTU. Again, their groups are a little bit more liquid, so I'm not sure if he still is. It's pretty unclear. I'm not gonna lie. So they took them all together and they mashed them and they were like, yep, this works. So I have a theory that this may continue to happen in SM Entertainment, that they may have realized that, we might have been stunting ourselves by picking a group and having them stay as a group. And I think this is really good for the K-pop industry, especially for groups that debut and run their course like 101, and then when their contract ends, they're just kind of done. I don't know. It sounds like a really weird place to be, because you've put so much time and effort into training these skills, into developing them, and then you debut, which is hard on its own. You make a name for yourself, you succeed, and then it's like, oh, your contract's done. Good luck. You're like, great. Do I start again as a trainee? Like, what? Anyway, so I feel like SM Entertainment is very smart to do this. And I feel like it may change that flow of the K-pop industry where it's like, oh, well, once your contract's done, you're done, which was so sad for 101 because they were very successful. So this may open opportunities for previously trained idols to literally jump back into the idol industry without having to go through training again. And I think that would be amazing. I literally think it would blow people up. I really do. I think it would throw so many people for a loop. And so I'm all for it. I think it would be really fun. You never know. And with that, I think this is going to grow SM on an exponential level. So we've talked, it's been talked about kind of all over how BTS just blew open the doors into America, into North America specifically, I feel like. And honestly, they were what really brought me back into K-pop, not even gonna lie. But I stand almost all of them. I'm 100% behind almost all of them by now. But I think it's just interesting. And if this goes that way where groups can become a little bit more fluid, I think that'd be great. I mean, that means Stray Kids, Woojin can jump back into Stray Kids without a problem. That means that Won Ho from Monsta X, if he decides to come back, automatic. And you know what? If SM is the only one who decides to continue to do this, they may end up, this is why I say this opens up exponential growth. They may end up taking in a ton of not older artists, but artists who already made a name for themselves and then were, I hate to say kicked out of the industry, but almost just like dropped outside of the industry, like, oops, sorry, you're expired, which is not true. They have so much more left in them to give. So that's why I say this may lead to exponential growth for SM specifically. But I think this is such an interesting thing to see because they may create subgroups within SM, which I think is going to, again, exponential growth because I feel like they very much analytically looked at this and looked at, talent and popularity and like fan response. There we go. Like, what is that word? So I think this is great. I think it's really exciting. And I think we're going to have to buckle up and see what happens in the K-pop industry because I think SM just made a huge leap. And the more successful that SuperM is, the more it's going to change other people's opinions and especially other entertainment labels' opinions on what they've just done. So buckle up, guys. The K-pop industry might be changing, hopefully for the better, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, but like it may be changing a lot soon because of this. Or it may take a lot more time. You never know. Anyway, that is my opinion on SuperM and why NCT made it possible. And in essence, EXO as well. And why I think they're going to make it. And I think they're going to make huge waves in the K-pop industry. And I'm really excited to see it, honestly. Really excited. Anyway, if you like this video, you can let me know in the comment section. If you have anything you want me to talk about, hopefully that's not super controversial. I've talked about how I'm not super into talking about that. I will consider it for sure. But if there's something you want to hear my opinion on, go ahead and tell me in the comment section below. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. And take care of yourself.